Is it high functioning anxiety or high functioning trauma? Hi, I'm Emma Coble. I'm a licensed professional counselor who sees clients in Colorado and in Florida. You might be that person at your work or in your family who's like running on fumes. Maybe you have like 5 coffees a day and you never slow down. You're constantly going from work to the gym to your kids, whatever. And you look very good from the outside in terms of like you get a lot done, you have achieved a lot, um, you seem like you have it all together. However, inside, it's a different story. You look like you're crushing it, but on the inside, you are exhausted. You are burnt out. You are suffering. And there's a pain with this that no one else really sees. And this can be incredibly lonely. It's not effortless for you to do all these things and be all these things and wear all these hats, even though you might make it look that way and seem that way to others. You might think to yourself like, yeah, I just have some high functioning anxiety. That's just who I am. I'm an anxious person, but I'm really productive. I get a lot done. I want to gently challenge that narrative a little bit today. um, Oftentimes, this high functioning anxiety that I'm describing is caused by something much deeper. Um, so, first of all, I want to say that when we think of ourselves as having this high functioning anxiety, and I feel this as well, this is often seen as like a badge of honor in our society for women. So if we are that person who wears all the hats, who does all the things, who's very productive, we are given more social status in a way, and we're rewarded for this. We are more desirable as a partner or a friend or an employee. But this high functioning idea is really a trap, and it's really about how other people see you and not how you are relating to yourself. Um, so high functioning relates to like what you're producing for your family, your boss, your partner, not about how you're feeling in your body. Um, when we're in that state of high functioning anxiety and we're doing so much and we're accomplishing so much, we are really oftentimes operating from a fight or flight or fawn response. And I've talked a bit about this in other videos. We're running on these productivity, perfectionism, cortisol, and we're running, and it might be a way of outrunning like deep sense of not being safe or not being adequate. Um, so, what's really going on? So, many women, and especially like a lot of the women I work with, and some do, some don't, but actually kind of dismiss the idea that they have trauma. They might come to therapy and think like, oh, I've never had one of those huge life events like, the death of someone really, really close to me, or, been in a plane crash or car crash or something like that. So I wasn't really traumatized, or my childhood was pretty good, so I don't have a bunch of trauma. I'm just burnt out from living in our society. I want to say that trauma is not defined by the event itself, it's defined how our nervous system responds to events. So, some things that we don't see as trauma as a society can be traumatic. So, things like chronically living in a state of stress, or growing up with a critical parent, or being invalidated, or being bullied, or just having our nervous system be in the state of overwhelm. These things can be traumatic to our systems. Um, Oftentimes, when we've lived in that state for a really long time, we develop amazing, complicated, highly effective survival strategies that we have oftentimes learned from a really young age, like being really perfect, being really high achieving, being really productive, being a people pleaser. Um, the more we engage in those strategies, the more we tell our body that if we drop the ball, if we do something else, we're not going to be safe. So it's kind of a loop that perpetuates itself, and we just continue operating from this place of we have to be productive, never slowing down, and being afraid to slow down. So we need to start to view this through a feminist lens. Really thinking about, why is this society giving this badge of honor? Why does it just keep saying, oh, you have anxiety, rather than addressing, like, this is a real problem. This is a real problem. And women's suffering matters, and we need to do something about it. And there's trauma with existing in a patriarchal system. The truth is that our culture really benefits from women over functioning and overproducing. Capitalism benefits from women doing the invisible or emotional labor, taking care of men's emotions, taking care of children, um, taking care of like relational aspects in general. Um, and it benefits from women taking on these kind of like contradictory rules and roles and keeping themselves small. Um, but it takes a toll on us to have to be this girl boss and successful, and at the same time be a perfect mom and have a perfect body and, eat 12,000 grams of protein a day. Like, all the things we are told to do to be successful and to be worthy, it's too much for any person to do or be. Of course, we're going to buckle under the weight of um, those circumstances. Like, it is again too much for a person to bear. So we want to shift the paradigm from, if you are buckling under the weight of these expectations, it's not your fault. It's the fault of the expectations themselves. It's the fault of a patriarchal society. It's not you. Um, if you're burnt out, it's not a personal failing. It's a logical reaction to a really traumatic and unbalanced system that you're living in. So, healing is recognizing that your worth isn't tied to your output and what you produce. So, we want to befriend this achiever part. We want to understand her and why she developed, and express a lot of gratitude for probably the way she has helped us succeed in the past and get social capital and achieve a lot of the things we have wanted in our lives given the society we live in. We are not wanting to just throw away the high achiever or say, go away, stop doing this. We want to recognize that that part has probably shielded us from feeling worthless or vulnerable or being rejected in our society. And we're not trying to say she can't be here, or that she needs to go away, because frankly, she has helped us and she might help us in the future. But we want to burden her from that place of having to do it relentlessly and feeling worthless if she doesn't achieve or she doesn't continue producing. Um, so EMDR is great for this. Talk therapy can only go so far in helping you kind of understand some of these dynamics, but EMDR using bilateral stimulation really gets to the root of where your story started, how it's showing up in the body, and starts to desensitize you to these feelings of worthlessness and the trauma that you have experienced. And it starts to help you rewrite a new story. So rather than, I'm not lovable if I don't produce, or if I rest, I'm lazy, you might start to embody a story truly in your body of, like, I have inherent worth. I've always had inherent worth. There was never anything wrong with me. So if you don't have a specific traumatic memory, again, you have trauma by living in our society. And if your body is responding in this way where your nervous system is in fight or flight, that is a trauma response. I want to say also that some people are nervous about healing this because they're worried about like losing their edge or not being productive. Actually, what I've seen happen is the opposite. Like, people actually become more tuned into their passion and tuned into operating from a place of feeling worthy, and then they're able to actually oftentimes achieve things that are more in line with them and that help them continue moving forward in a way that feels authentic and healthy, rather than just driven by like a negative, like a feeling of I'm not enough and I have to keep going, which burns everyone out. So you have permission to put down this heavy load, and I'm here to help you. If you live in Colorado or Florida and you want to schedule a consultation, reach out. And I am hoping for you that you can be gentle with that part that has been producing, and help her know that she's helped a lot, and we're not trying to make her go away, but we want to help her. So have a great day.